Welcome. My name is Mark Anthony Dubose Jr. I was born July 4th, 1986. I want to say thank you for tuning in to try to figure out some more about your dog. Something I have to continue to keep talking about that in reality I could talk about these dogs just forever. And it's something that I really enjoy to be able to talk about because it really just brings an extreme amount of joy to me to be able to help some people out, to be able to get into a better position, a better place. And the main thing that I want you to be able to get in a better place with is something that I kind of want to talk about today, and it comes down to the idea and the concept of making sure that is your dog sleeping enough? Is your dog getting enough rest? Or are you like doing too much with that dog? Because in reality, especially a very young dog, very, when I'm talking young, I'm talking like basically less than a year. These dogs should be sleeping like minimum 16 hours. In most cases, these dogs should be sleeping about 20 hours a day, especially a young puppy, at least about 20 hours a day. And something that I want a lot of people to just really keep in mind. Because if the dog isn't getting, enough exercise and enough this and enough that and enough food, it's not going to survive. And it's going to be in a very sticky situation. At the same time, if the dog's not getting enough rest, the dog can look like chaos more than a dog that is not even getting enough exercise. Because the dog can get to the point that it's not even with it in the world anymore because it's not rested. And I know all of us as humans have more likely ran into a situation when you ran into some sleep deprivation because you had things you had to get done. And you're not like thinking things clearly. This is where, a lot of disorders can happen from us as human beings because of a lack of sleep. That you start to see things, you start to hear things, you start to believe things that aren't even there, that's not even going on. Something that I want a lot of people to realize is a lot of times we're doing too much with these dogs, and it's not allowing them to be able to get a full recovery each day to be able to be a healthy animal. And I don't know what it is, but it comes down to the point that I kind of want to say something that a lot of times we're doing too much too soon, that we need to just hang out and just relax. Because we get in our brains that I need to do, or my dog's not gonna be good. I gotta make this happen. I gotta do more. I gotta entertain them more. I gotta work with them more. I gotta hang out with them more to make sure that dog is gonna be good to go. But in reality, if you do too much and the dog isn't getting that rest, you're disrespecting that dog more than just, I don't know what to use there outside of just giving them too many treats. And I know someone's just gonna say, how can I be disrespecting my dog by giving it treats? I'm telling you. If you're trying to get that dog to do something that dog doesn't want to do with those treats, that's disrespect at the end of the day. And I can come up with all kinds of scenarios to humanize that, but I don't really feel like I'm going to do that on this video right now. That I might make a whole hour-long session on just talking about how you can be disrespecting your dog by giving them treats. And it's extremely disrespectful when you're doing it in a certain way. In a certain ways I want to talk about. But today I want to talk about the concept of disrespecting the dog and not allowing it to be able to get rest. If the dog's not getting rest, if you're constantly pushing that dog, if you're constantly doing things, and one thing that I'm going to say is probably an ultimate level of disrespect. When that dog is resting, that dog is napping, that dog is asleep, that dog is chilling and it's gone to the world, passed out. Stop messing with the dog. Stop ooh, let's do this. Stop ooh, let's take pictures, because this is just stuff that we do with the puppies, of course, because they're so cute, right? I hear you. They are so adorable. They're so amazing. But you want to make sure that puppy is going to be a nice dog. And that puppy, you can get your picture take 1,000 pictures, but get off the dog when it's asleep. When the dog is just gone to the world, just hanging out, just leave the dog alone. Stop poking the dog, stop pinching the dog, stop oh, he's napping, and try to get all sweet in it and to wake the dog up. Just leave the dog alone. Let the dog be able to rest. This is a beautiful thing of being able to have an area so that your dog knows that it sleeps there. And don't interrupt it. Allow it to just sleep, especially young dogs. You want them to be in the habit of understanding that it's peaceful here. And peaceful is being able to rest. And if you're not able to rest because things don't feel so peaceful, you're running into a toxic relationship. That the dog's not going to be able to trust you. It's always on edge. It's always on alert. It's like, what's going on? What's happening? And again, I'm talking, these dogs should be sleeping 20 hours, 18 hours, 16 hours. Even an adult dog, I'm looking at having all of my dogs. This is why sometimes you see this dog and sometimes you don't. Because sometimes if I'm working her more, she needs to hang out, she needs to relax. And she needs to be able to be in a peaceful environment to be able to do that. So I just leave her in the house. I just leave her in the house. I come outside and do stuff. She gets bored, she just lays down and she goes to sleep. And she needs to do that to be able to be in her optimum performance level. And for me, of course, I'm going even extreme with high performance that I need her to be able to work more. So she needs way more off time. And I can't have her just on the go all the time, just over and over and over. And that's something that is I'm going to say much different what I'm saying right now than with the average working for a work dog, such as my Border Collie. He's primarily awake more because he takes his naps and he's on work. He takes his nap, he's on work. He's on work almost at a 24/7 stance. That he does more. But this is the difference of We're looking for a working dog over a pet dog inside of your home. A pet dog inside of your home, they need to sleep. They need to sleep because they're not even capable of being able to handle that type of workload. They may look good for a little while, but they start to get delusional, man. I see so many dogs that are literally just barking out the window at nothing. You go out and look for it and you're like, what's going on? What you barking at? And you look and you see nothing. Nothing is going on. The dog is not even with it. It's like reacting to something that's not even going on. And this just makes me think a lot about a lot of said reactive dogs on leash, that they're probably seeing something and perceiving something and it isn't even real. It's not even true. But yet they just have to flip out like crazy because they are in a sense that they just don't know what the heck is going on. And they're not able to process it because they're not getting enough rest. Something that I don't know why I just don't hear a lot of information about. Letting the dog sleep. Give it a place that it's comfortable and it knows that it's going to be good to go there. That it knows that it's safe there, that no one's going to be able to bother. This is the part where I do like the crate because it's an area that the dog knows I'm not going to go inside and mess with you. If you're in there, it's off limits for anybody to interact with you. You have a place of safety to be able to go. And this is where it's nice because in my house, I got a pretty cool little setup that I got a couch in a little cubby hole that the dog just goes, lays in that cubby hole. And I just leave a window open, which I probably shouldn't do. But it just got the air and they can still smell and they can still hear the outside. So they had this nice little secure spot within the home that they could that's theirs. I'm not going to mess with you there. I'm not going to interact with you. I'm not going to do anything to you there. I'm not going to try to give you no treats. I'm not going to try to give you no pets. I'm just going to let you do what you got to do and get that rest. And the dogs start to feel more and more comfortable. And when they start to feel comfortable, what else do they feel? Confident. When they feel confident, they feel secure. When they're secure, they don't need to go crazy in the house. They don't need to pace the house. They don't need to be jumping on everything in the house. They have a place to go that's just calm. And it's just calm. And it's just absolute hang out, relax. And that relaxed stance is going to be able to allow that dog to be able to just look at you like you great, man. You great woman. Like you bring so much peace and so much comfort to me. That's what we want our dogs to understand. But a lot of what we do is we are interrupting these dogs from getting the rest that they need because we're like, I need to do more. And there's something that just is fascinating about this dog training stuff because there's like two sides of here. You know, I'm the one that says to do nothing, but do nothing means no treats, no toys, get that stuff out of here. Play, do your work, play work, do that stuff, but don't try to like mix the two. Don't bring the toys to try to teach sit. Don't bring the treats to try to teach sit. Just play and have fun and interact with the dog. Go places, travel, just do stuff with the dog. Then there's the other side of it that people are just hardcore on, like you got to work this like 80-hour work week session with your dog or you're not going to have a nice dog. And I personally don't believe in that. And that's something that I think a lot of people need to understand. You do not need to put 12 hours a day, all day doing stuff with your dog for your dog to be a nice dog. And if anything, in most cases, you're more likely going to mess that up because we're trying to do too much as opposed to just relaxing and just hanging out and just being calm. And being calm and just standing and just hanging out, that's what the dogs are looking for from us. They're not looking for like, let's go 24/7. There's going to be the rare dog. There's the rare dog, of course. There's always that one dog that's capable of being able to do that. And if a dog is capable of doing that, you need to figure out how to integrate that dog to be into your entire daily life. And that's where it's a beautiful thing of how our laws are in the United States of America is you need to turn that dog into a service dog. You need to get that dog to be able to do some tasks for you. You need to figure out how to be able to get that dog to be able to actually do something its fullest potential for you. And that's something like this dog could possibly be able to do is being able to be with, hanging out, doing and working and going and going and going. But most dogs are not capable of that. And we're trying to push them to make them do too much. And that too much that we're trying to make them do, that's what's driving them to start to get really, really pushy with us. Because they're like, man, I just want to relax. And I just want to be able to chill is what the dog is saying. But we're just like, no, let's this, no, let's this, no, let's this, as opposed to just hanging out. And we start to get the dog to understand that there are times that we do over there, we do stuff, and then times that we just hang out. The dog can see the difference between the both. And so that the dog can start to just hang out and be able to just understand that that's what our schedule, that's what we do. That's how things are. That's what I want her to understand. And this Dalmatian is gonna be in a more, I'm obviously doing, I don't want to say that I have more time. I work with my dogs more because I'm a dog trainer. So I got my dogs with me and I do a lot with my dogs. So of course I'm going to do more with my dogs. But the main thing that I even want with this dog is if we're standing, we're hanging out. We're just chilling. There's no like busybody going crazy, going wild. I want her to just stand here. I don't care if she stands, she sits, or she lays down. And I was getting a little picky there with like, you better down, but I don't care what she does as long as she knows that we're chill. We're just hanging out. And then when we get walking, we get moving, it's like, okay, now we're gonna get to go and to do something. But when I'm standing, we're hanging out. But when we're moving, we're moving. I want her to understand the differences between this so that she knows that she doesn't need to be on the go, on the move, on edge all the time, because that would just drive her into absolute insanity. She wouldn't be able to keep up with that. She would start to look at me like, man, when are we just gonna be able to like take a nap? When are we gonna rest? In most cases, most people, your dogs are only sleeping when you're sleeping. And that's not nowhere near enough, because I'm gonna say you don't get enough sleep. I'm pretty sure gonna guarantee that as well. You're probably only getting 5, 6, 7, even 8 hours of sleep a day. And sometimes you might even your own self need a little bit more than that. But if the dog is only sleeping at that time, your dog is having issues. It's got issues. It's not getting the rest that it needs. And if it's not getting the rest that it needs, it doesn't understand what that even means. And we need to show and coach the dogs that when the dog is resting, the dog is hanging out, leave the dog alone, allow it to do it. When the dog is all jumping and going wild, give that dog some exercise and bring them in and then just hang out. Don't like bring the exercise back inside and keep this going and going and going. Because the main thing is, most cases, the dogs, from what I've seen, they understand when I'm not doing nothing, when I'm like, we're done. They understand it. So when you're in the house and you want your dog to relax in the house, because this is just me, you don't have to live the same lifestyle I live, but my inside of the house, we're chill. There's no running, there's no jumping, there's no nothing. You can sit down and chew on a bone, you can sit and chew a little toy or something, whatever, you could do that. You could jump onto the couch, lay down, you could lay on the floor, you could lay on the bed, you could lay in the kitchen, you could lay wherever you want. But that's the main thing I'm saying right there. You could lay down. We hang out in the house. And I've always done that day one with every dog that I ever have. And I just prefer that, because it brings the dog to be able to have a sense of like an off switch, that it doesn't need to do anything. That it's not required to do or make anything happen. That it has a chance to just be able to hang out and just be able to be. And I want the dogs to always be able to know that there's a separation here, that they have a place that they can go that is just relax. Because the dogs, as much as they seem like they go, and as much as they seem like they're always on the move, they enjoy their rest like crazy. But they never understand it. They think that we're always that we're demanding that they continue to keep on working, we're demanding that they just keep on staying active. And the dogs are trying to please us, so they're like, I'll keep going. And then day after day, week after week, month after month, and you got a 2-year-old dog now that is only getting 6 to 7, some dogs only 3 to 4 hours of sleep. That dog is gonna be a nightmare to be around, an absolute nightmare. A dog that is going to be just very challenging outside of not getting enough exercise, because the dog is in this frantic, weird stance, this weird state that it's just, it doesn't know what to do. It doesn't know what to do because it hasn't been able to rest. And without it being able to rest, it's going to run into a situation that the dog is going to just have to have no choice but to give pushback. And then you ever notice the situation that happens, that when you're so tired, you're not tired? The same thing is going on with these dogs. You get so tired that you can't sleep, because you're going. And then when you finally sleep, you get this like hard, fast, short, no good, just trash sleep. Sleep that is just horrible. That's something that I study with myself. I got this specific watch that I pay a specific company for. I've been paying too much money at this, but I appreciate it because it shows me how my sleep is with what I'm doing. It shows me, dude, you need some rest right now. Like, you trying to do too much. It shows me when I need to like do even more. It shows me all these things. And I start to realize and pay attention to the trends that I'm doing in my life with what's going on. And it just made me really just have to stop and just look and just pay attention to what these dogs are also doing. These dogs, if they're not getting the rest they need based on what's going on with them each day, they are going to be an extreme hot mess, a mess that you don't want to be around. And then the dog is just going to only keep getting worse and worse and worse, because it's so tired that it's not tired, that now it's going to have to do something extreme to be able to get tired. And that's a dog that is just going to destroy the whole house. It's going to chew everything, be in everything, dig in everything. It's just going to start to go wild because it has so much energy that it's trying to release it. It's trying to just get it all out, and it finally does, and it sleeps, and then it's interrupted in its sleep because, it's time to wake up. We got to do this, we got to do this, we got to do this, we got to do this. The dog doesn't have a sense of being able to go somewhere to just be able to rest. And also at the same time, we're not showing it, teaching it, guiding it, giving it the direction to be able to rest. When you have your dog inside of that house, just chill, man. Just hang out. Just allow the dog to be able to know that I know you think you want to go. Because this is the part where a lot of people would say it's the impulse control you want to put onto the dog. I want to put on a dog to understand that, hey, I know you may want to go wild and do all crazy right now, but we're going to be in a sense right this second that we're not doing that, so that I can give you what you need. And because a lot of times, a lot of what we think that we need to give to these dogs is not what they actually need. What they need is exercise. They need rest. They need food. They need water. I mean, they don't really even need shelter. They can figure that out on their own for the most part. I'm pretty impressed with what I can see how these dogs do. When it starts raining, they figure it out. When it's too hot, they figure it out. When it's too cold, they figure it out. They figure everything out. But it's a matter of making sure that we're giving them all of the package of life. And for some reason, we don't talk about rest. And I want to talk about rest. And I want you to just know, stop doing too much with the dog and slow down a little bit. And this isn't for everyone and every single person out here, but it's just for someone that I know that you're trying to do the best. You're trying to like be the best. You're trying to make your dog to be the best. And to do that, your dog needs a beyond nice, quality, adequate sleep. It needs to sleep. It needs rest. It needs to chill. And you have to show them how to do that. You have to stop messing with them, stop playing with, stop interacting with them, and just be nothingness and allow the dog to just see that, oh, we're not doing that now. Let me just rest then. So the dog can understand that not all the time is go, go, go. And this starts from puppyhood. This starts right away, because this is the part where, this is what I'm going to say, is I saw a huge issue with most dog training, like puppy training stuff. I see a huge issue with it because we're doing all these drills all the time. And we're teaching and training these dogs to be high athletic working dogs. And we're working them every day, over and over, every 2 hours, every hour. We're doing all these drills, all this sit, all these things, and we're working them to be what my border collie is. A high energy, high on active, high on alert working dog that can work like crazy all day long. And that starts from a baby that we're teaching them how to do this. We're never teaching them to relax. So we're letting the dog know that I need you to be on edge all the time. And then all of a sudden we get to the point that the dog is like, oh, the dog knows how to sit good. It's doing everything real good, you know? So then at that moment, what do? We don't keep up with like all the extra that we used to do. Especially just one challenging thing with dogs is we get them as puppies and we do extra. Where's my Oreo at? We do Oreo and we do extra that it's like it's a puppy, so it's cool, it's cute. We want to do more. We want to do more. We want to do more. It's fun to interact with them. It's fun to, are you good? It's fun to engage with them. It's fun to do all that mess. A mess, whatever. But it's fun to do it. But then the dog like gets older and it's not so cute, it's not so cuddly, it's not so adorable, and then we start doing less and less and less. So we've been priming that dog at a very young age to like we're working. So now that dog is a professional athlete with extreme endurance, exceptional stamina, and then we just like stop one day. And then we're like, oh, I don't know what's going on. My dog is now this. It's because we're not keeping up with that extreme workload that we used to be doing. Where the differences that we need to do here is, this is the difference where you can take a very, very, very high energy dog and turn it into being a nice pet dog. You could take a very hard, heavy, hardcore working dog and turn it into a nice pet. It's all about how we start this foundation with this dog. And if it's already a 2-year-old dog and who knows anything about it, you can start that foundation right now with what your rules are and what you're expecting that dog to be like. Understanding that there's work and here's rest. And you sit and you do nothing to have that dog know that now is rest. So the dog knows, I know it wants to jump, I know it wants to play, but when it's not getting any sort of interaction, the go-to that the dogs start to do is they take a nap. They always take a nap. This is the girl, she always falls asleep. And today, it's fast. It's like 10 minutes, if that. She falls asleep in less than 10 minutes the second that I stop engaging and interacting with her. So I'm priming her to, I know she wants to be, because I'm using this dog differently, she's going to be my working, like running dog, but she's not needed to be running 24/7. She's going to be running for 3 to 4 hours a day, like 5 days, 6 days a week. That's it. So on those off times, it's off times because I don't want her, because the main thing is I need her to build her stamina so that she can perform. I can't have her exhausting all her energy somewhere else so that when we get to start to do our work, that it's going to be different. This is where this is going to be, I said, working dog for me, the way that most people want pet dogs. Whereas my Border Collie and my Great Pyrenees are completely different working dogs that you don't want that inside of your house. You don't want the system on how I was training these dogs to get them as puppies, how they are today. You do not want that, because my Oriole, he gets tired in 20 minutes, but he will recover and he can keep doing that over and over and over, because that's what I do with him every single day. Every day, all day, we're doing stuff. Right from the morning, we're moving chickens around. Right in the afternoon, we're moving them again. We're moving cows around. We're moving and moving all day long. And he's been doing that since I got him a little bit late at 10 weeks old. No, I think it was 12 weeks old I got him. It was like 12 weeks old when I got him. So I got him a little, and that's what we've been doing since day one that he's known me. And he knows to do that. Whereas my other dogs, they can't do that because they weren't trained, primed to be able to do such a thing. So you show the dog how to rest, how to get that rest, how to maintain that rest. And not saying that it's going to turn it into a lazier dog, but in reality, it kind of will. It'll turn it into, I'll say, a regular dog, not a high performance dog. Where some of us need high performance dogs to do some certain things for us. And the unfortunate thing is we're taking the advice from these people that are working high performance dogs and trying to figure out how to be able to get a calm pet dog inside of your home. And a calm pet dog inside of your home needs sleep. It needs rest. It needs uninterrupted sleep. It needs for you to be able to be the person that says, I know you're so cute. I know you're so cuddly. You're so cute and you're just so amazing, to just say you have to deny your access to that dog so that dog can understand that now is time to rest. We're not going to keep pushing this and pushing this, pushing this, because most likely, I see this a lot with a lot of people's dogs. You're working these dogs to be extreme. You're working them with all these games and all this stuff that you're doing, with all these sits and all these little things that you're doing all day long with that dog. You're priming it to be an extreme, no turn off, just hardcore, just crazy animal, as opposed to training a pet dog that you're looking for inside of your home. And this is the thing, that it really isn't complicated, but it's a matter of us just slowing down some and understanding that you can do too much with these dogs, depending on what you're looking for in the future. If in the future you're looking for a dog to be calm and to be able to hang out, to be able to just interact with, to be able to just go to the mall, go to the stores, and go to the restaurants, then you're looking for a dog to be relaxed, to be chill. So you need to start in, Oreo, you're eating my eggs now. Now you got to come here. You can do whatever you want except eat my food. That's not yours until I give it to you. Come here. You got two options. Let's just see if you stop. Okay. You can't eat nothing. I don't want you eating no food. I see you eating. You over there. You just ate like 5 or 6 of those eggs. That's your dinner for the next 2 days right there, homie. That's the one thing that I'm going to say. I'm going to be straight up honest, and I don't know how other trainers say this, but to get your dog to not eat food from behind your back, oh my goodness, this is like the biggest challenge that I think. That's my challenge I have with dogs, is that. If anything else, that's what I got. How to get my dogs to stop eating food when there's just food everywhere. I got food everywhere out here. I've got eggs out here everywhere. I got chicken out here everywhere. I got everything out here everywhere. And for me to just be, because if I'm like working, they don't eat it. But they know that I'm not engaged in paying attention to them, because that's why this girl on leash with me, because she'll eat everything. She loves all food. So if I'm not paying attention, if I'm not direct, like we're doing what we're doing, they just eat everything. They'll just eat. He's so smart. He just goes back to the patio. He's like, I can't mess up here. That's the main thing. That's just what I'm talking about right now. They need to have a safe place, a place to go that everything is chill, everything is good, they can never get in trouble, everything is all right. And they need to have an area like that. And I would set an area up like that inside of your home, so that you are able to allow that dog to just be able to hang out, so they could just chill, so they could just relax, so they could just be in peace, so they could just have time to just be on off duty. And train and teach that dog as soon as absolute possible how to just be off duty majority of the day. Especially if you have a dog that's under a year old. That dog should be sleeping at least. And if you need to like mark it and scan it and see, at least 16 hours every single day. If that dog is not sleeping that, you're doing one of the two things. You're training it to be an athlete that you're not going to want in the future, which I'm pretty much going to guarantee, and you're getting it to be in a situation that it's starting to get sleep deprivation, and that dog is now going to start to be very unruly because it's not with it in the world. It needs rest. It absolutely needs rest. And the number one thing that I've worked with so many families, and this is something that I'm just going to say to hopefully to make sure that everyone that's got kids, if the dog is asleep, tell your kids to please leave the dog alone. There's been so many households that I go to because the dog is starting to growl and nip the kids, because they come up to it and they like jump scare the dog. The dog is passed out, living good life, and the kid just comes up and just look and just scares the dog. And it does that to the dog. And the dog starts to just get enraged, is all I can say. So keep the kids the heck away from the dog when the dog is sleeping. And even your own self. I'm guilty of this myself a little bit, because it's hard. It's fascinating to watch, especially a puppy just sleeping. I don't know what it is, but it's a TV show in itself to just see what they're doing, especially when they're rolling. They got this belly all exposed and they're doing what they're doing. It's interesting to see. But if you're always hounding, you're always on them, the dog is just like, oh, you're here, let's go do something, as opposed to allowing that dog to just get that 3 to 4 hours of sleep in the middle that it was in, that it absolutely needs to be able to be a good dog. It needs that. And if it's not getting it, it's disrespect at the end of the day. Oreo. Never mind. So he actually got it. He figured my life out right now. We'll get him. I want him all the way over here at this point. But the dog needs sleep, because I've seen this. I've seen this. And I work with this, and I do this, and I see the differences of the dogs that are getting a good amount of rest as opposed to the ones that aren't. The ones that aren't, because this girl here wasn't at first. She was like, she was doing too much, and I could see it in her, where you could see like the anxiousness that starts to come out, the pushiness, the weirdness starts to come out. But once the dog is able to get the full amount of rest, you see the dog calm down. And we as humans have to be that strong leader to say, I know you want to play right now, but you need rest right now. You need to just stop and hang out right now. We need to do that for the dogs, because otherwise the dogs, they're not going to be what you're looking for at the end of the day. Because a lot of this comes down to the super simple basics that, for whatever reason, we like to do this complicated stuff to get the dogs to look good, as opposed to just the simple basics to be able to have something really, really nice. And I don't know why it is that I want to talk about this right now. It's just something that just is, I've kept seeing all week this week, is dogs that I know for a fact aren't getting sleep because they're just pacing. They're just, they'll be asleep, and the tiniest noise, what's going on? What's that? The tiniest noise will just get them to like startle them and make them go wild. They're not like getting rest. They're on edge all the time. And that is a horrible condition to be in, a horrible way to be living this life. Knowing that you're not safe in your home, knowing that you have no place to be able to just relax in your home. That's a horrible way to live. We want these dogs to be able to know that they're safe and they're comfortable, and there's nothing to worry about. That we've got it figured out, we got it. Now, if someone is inside and trying to break into the door, of course, your dog's gonna get up and respond. But if there's a dog barking 8 miles away, why is your dog barking at that? If the postman is dropping a box off at your neighbor's house across the street, why is your dog flipping out at that? They're flipping out at that because they're not feeling safe and comfortable inside of their home. And most of that starts because we're not giving the dogs what it is that the dog needs. Rest. The dog needs to sleep. Allow the dog to sleep. And if the dog isn't sleeping, you need to tell that dog to sleep. You need to stop interacting with it and just be a body and do nothing and just say, this is what you're doing right now. We're not going anywhere. I'm telling you, the dogs end up falling asleep because the only way I can say it is they'll get bored. And you need to get your dog bored so that it knows how to be able to just hang out and just be able to rest. Because that's the main thing that I really like about certain things that I do, especially just with my dogs, is when I say down and we're in a long down, because that's what my Johnny does. My Oreo, he's different because, like I said, he's trained much different, and I'm never going to train him to be a pet dog. He's going to be completely different. But my Johnny, when I say down, that dude primarily just falls asleep. He just passes out. He'll roll here and there, and he just like, I'm going to be here. And he just starts to snooze. He just hangs out. That's why I could do an incredible downstay with that dog, because he just passes out. I tell him down, he's like, oh, I'll be here for a day. And he just sleep. And he'll wake up like, oh, we're going somewhere, we're doing something. And he's well rested. He's like, let's go make something happen. And he's good to go. And that's just what he's been primed to know, that when we're sitting, we're hanging out. Because he knows it instantly in the house. We go in the house, I sit down. He's like, okay, I'll just take a nap. He just goes, he lays by the window, and he just falls asleep. He falls asleep like in seconds, it seems like. It's incredible. And she's already starting to get there. She knows we get in the house, we're going to hang out. You can sit on the couch, take a nap, curl up, sleep, just chill, so that you can get your full rest that you need. And especially me with this young dog here, she needs that rest, and she hasn't been getting it. And it shows based on how sporadic and how crazy and how like the best thing I can say with it is just not thinking things clearly, not thinking it through, just doing stuff just like wild and savage without like contemplating like what's going on. And that's just showing me that you're not like processing everything because you're not getting enough rest to be able to process it. And that's at the end of the day going to be a damaging thing for especially a puppy, because the dog's not going to be getting enough rest, and it's going to make it anxious is all that it's going to happen from it. Something that I just want someone to think about today is the concept of how to get your dog to sit, how to get your dog down. We got all this stuff out here, but how to get your dog to sleep and make sure that you're giving your dog the proper rest that it needs. And me to say that look this up. Don't just take my words for it. You know, I'm just some random dude, Mark Anthony Bose Jr., living on this farm out here. Look it up how much dogs should be sleeping each day, and understanding that the dogs, they need that. The same with the human being. How much sleep do you need during the day? And if that means you need to rearrange something to be able to get, I'm telling you, you get enough sleep and you are going to transform your own life into being something so much better. But if you're not getting the sleep required, you're chaos, man. You're chaos. Now, how many of y'all have been doing something where you had to stay up all night, then you still had to go to work? That work day, that next day is horrible. You know it's horrible. And us as humans, what do we have? We got coffee, we got energy drinks, we got all this stuff. We got caffeinated pills, we got all these things to be able to make sure that we can stay awake. But what does the dog have? The dog has to just deal with it. the dog has no choice but to just live in it and just suck. It's gonna be hard for it. And then we're doing that day after day after day after day after day after day after day. And we wonder why the dogs are going crazy. It's not a lot of it because they're even getting enough exercise. A lot of it is they're not getting enough. The opposite side of that is a rest. Thank you. Hi, Elfie. You could definitely get down. This is her saying, I want to do something. And I'm going to say to her, we're not doing nothing right now. Because right now we're just hanging out. Right now we're chilling. I'm standing here and we're just hanging out. So she has it in her of, I want this, I'm going to this. So she's like, I'm going to this, I'm going to this, I'm going to this. And it's for me to say, no, we're not doing anything right now. We're not doing anything. And I have to stay firm with that to let her know how to be able to relax. Now, if I start to interact with her, start to do stuff with her, it's going to force her to like, let's do more, let's do more. And it's for me to just have my own delayed gratification of just knowing what I want in the future. Knowing that I do want to say play more because I have more time now or more of this or whatever. But you have to understand that if you're doing too much and you're not allowing that dog to get what it needs, you're going to end up working backwards in the future. Because a lot of us, we have hardcore working dogs based on what we've been, because especially since the COVID stuff was going on. We had the dogs at home, we playing with these dogs, interacting with dogs, and you got a 2-year-old dog that's like my border collie. And I'm gonna right here just say I feel sorry for you, because you're not gonna be able to keep up with that dog. That dog's gonna be, it's gonna be so hard to give that dog its needs, because it's capable of doing work 24/7. It can rest for 10 minutes and be back ready to go do it again. And at that moment now is the time that you need to break that, to say, I know you want to work, but we're chilling. We're chilling. We're doing nothing. We're hanging out. And by not interacting with her at all, I just have my leash on her. I have her with me. And if you're in the house and you got to have a leash on to tell her to stop jumping and stop doing it, it's just, this is what I want. This is what you need to do, is to just deny the even petting them right now. Don't even pet them. Don't even stare at them. Don't call their names. Don't do anything with them. And then they're going to end up realizing like, oh, we just chilling. And that energy will start to just go down. And that's the part of the whole impulse control right there that's real true. Not worrying about throwing a ball and a dog doesn't go get it. The dog knowing that we're not doing anything right now. We're just chilling. And we're not going to like even engage right now. There's no release word to go engage. No, we're done. We're hanging out. And when the dogs understand that, you have the best pet dog on the planet, because then you could take that dog to the restaurant and it lays down and hangs out. Then you could take that dog to the store and you're shopping and you stop the cart, you're walking, we're walking. When you stop, the dog's just going to hang out. It's going to just stand there and be like this. It's going to be pretty. And most dogs, they end up just laying down or sitting down because they're like, I just don't want to be on my feet right now. And they just do that on default. You don't need to train the stays and all that. You just train the dog to understand when we're relaxed. So if we're sitting down, we're standing still, we're not doing nothing. But when we get moving, okay, we can go do something. And you get that switch on the dogs, oh my goodness, it is a nice dog.